On this episode of View the Right Thing, gender-bending comedies don't get much better than this. When a struggling actor disguises himself as a woman and suddenly becomes America's hottest new actress, you get a film with Wes and Steve going gaga over the 1982 Sidney Pollack classic, Tootsie. And now, it's time for View the Right Thing.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of
Yes, welcome.
View the Right Thing.
View the Right Thing.
View the Right Thing. It's been a little while.
I'm going to call this our triumphant return.
Yeah, it seems like we have a triumphant return every few months.
Hey man, life happens,
Life
you know?
does happen.
Let's call this season 3. Why not, right? Something like that.
No, I
Season-
don't know.
whatever.
I think we're still in season 2. Well, so technically, season 3 doesn't start till, I think, June or July.
Oh, all right.
So we're still just a little bit away. We'll call this like the, we'll say that the Oscars were the spring finale.
There you go.
And or the midwinter finale.
The midwinter finale.
And then we're
belongs to Oscar.
coming back to do a few more episodes and then have a season finale.
Cool.
And then we'll come back for a season premiere.
Yeah.
How are things? It's been a little while. So
there's plenty to discuss.
should we address the Oscar elephant in the room?
The Oscar elephant in the room.
I destroyed you guys in the Oscar tally.
Yeah, I completely forgot what my score even was.
Let's just say it wasn't close to mine.
This is what I do know.
Yeah.
At the Oscar party I attended that night,
Yeah.
I was right about everything, but there is no paper proof of that anywhere.
Yeah.
It would literally just be like, he's going to call this, and I'd be right.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
And how happy was I when I was wrong at first about Best Picture?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause remember, I said that
What a moment.
that Best Picture and Best Director would not be the same
Right.
people. And
Right.
and then it turns out Moonlight did win Best Picture. I was so happy.
It won, and it almost didn't win.
I didn't watch the Oscars.
You didn't?
I did not. I have a weekly D&D game that I play
Oh.
with people, and it happens on Sunday nights.
There you go.
So I was kind of keeping track and giving everybody updates as it was going. I was refreshing Twitter on my phone and then just marking on our sheets which ones we got right, which
Sounds
ones we
fun.
got wrong. Yeah. So
Ask Tweeter.
Ask Twitter.
That's wild. I watched the Oscars at a party with a bunch of people that I barely knew. I've come to know some of them since then. Mm-hmm. And some very good friends who took me to this party.
Yep.
And I wound up picking everything right in the heat of the moment. But again, we weren't
of the moment.
marking it down. That's Asia's second best song right there.
Okay. Well, you know what? You know why you were doing so well in the heat of the
prize.
moment?
Why?
Because you were using old Wes's crib sheet in your brain.
That could be it.
You were like, Wes made some really good points during the podcast.
That could be it. I mean, I don't know that my brain has that kind of a function to it.
Yeah.
Unless you made all those really good points by way of speaking in movie quotes, then maybe.
I did not.
Maybe. Should we talk about this room that we're in?
So we're in it. So it may sound a little echoier.
It may.
More echo.
But there's also not a perpetual softball game going on outside.
That is true. There's not a family of hawks outside.
Yeah.
Yet. So I've moved. So that means our podcast's situation has moved.
It's moved.
It seems like it's for the most part, a quieter neighborhood.
Yeah, we're on new microphones.
We're on new microphones. We're in a bigger room. I feel like that's why there's more echo.
Yes,
More
certainly
space.
a more spacious room.
No,
yeah, probably bigger.
No rug on the floor. That doesn't help with the echo.
Right.
Now, if I properly use a noise filter, then the listeners are like, I don't hear an echo.
Oh.
So we'll find out. Let us know if you hear an echo.
Yes, tweet at Stephen No Howood or
at VTRT Movies. I just prefer you guys just tweet there. It's just easier.
All right.
Because then I don't have to switch back and forth.
Let us know if you're hearing that echo, 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 echo. Let us know if you're listening to any Echo and the Bunnymen, too. They were a solid band.
All right.
From our childhood. What to discuss first? There's been so much movie stuff happening since we took our break.
Well, let's maybe talk Anything exciting happening in your life since it's been a little while?
Sure.
Cool.
Man, well,
Some positive stuff.
Yeah,
maybe?
I can't go into the details of it.
Yeah.
But I had one of the biggest auditions of my life
Yeah.
recently, and now it's been a little while, and I'm getting down in the dumps. But it was still pretty awesome just to get to go and audition for that thing that I'm not allowed to mention. But it was an awesome day to get to do that.
Maybe it's a portent of more auditions that are of that scale coming.
I like it.
Because, you have to, go, you know this, you go on like 1 million auditions and you book one.
Right.
So you need 1 million of those big scale auditions so you can book one of those.
Absolutely.
And then you'll get even like 2 million.
Mark Ruffalo has
auditions.
gone on record of saying he auditioned 600 times before he booked something.
Wow.
I don't think I'm quite near 600 yet.
I think the first
But
thing,
I bet I'm easily over 2 or 3.
I think the first thing I saw him in, or that I recognized him in,
Yeah.
was there's a Canadian film that Sarah Polley did
Canadian film with Sarah Polley and Mark Ruffalo?
about a woman who finds out she's dying. She has a small child and a husband, and so she starts recording cassette tapes for her daughter, one for every birthday. And she makes a list of all the things that she's wanted to do or things that she never did.
Yeah.
And so, like, one of the things is, like, be with another man in bed, and because she's been with her husband since she was, like, in high school or whatever. And so Mark Ruffalo is the other man. It's not really about that. It's not about an affair.
Okay.
Like, one of the other things that she really wants to do is find a new mate for her husband.
Aw.
Like, somebody who's suitable for him that she approves of. Sort of somebody to give her blessing. Because, there's this idea that
I wonder what that's called.
some people don't want to...
Was it A Gift from Heaven, 1995?
No, it's like My Life or
My Life Without Me.
My Life Without Me. People, I think, when they lose a loved one, they are hesitant to get out and date other people because they don't want to replace them, or they don't feel like another person could be good enough and that kind of thing. So this idea that she is looking for a mate for her husband as sort of a way to say, it's okay, I'm giving you this release.
Yeah.
I think is really sweet.
I think I know why I got confused. You said Sarah Polley was
Yeah.
in it, but I thought Sarah Paulson.
Oh, yeah.
It occurs to me the first thing I must have seen Mark Ruffalo in without even realizing it was 1994's There Goes My Baby, starring Dermot Mulroney and Noah Weil. I'll tell you.
Noah Wiley was in that? I love Noah Wiley.
Yeah, I always call him Weil. What is with me?
Wiley? Yeah, pretty sure it's Wiley.
Wiley, right?
Yeah, pretty sure. First thing I ever saw Noah Wiley in?
Wyle, it's spelled.
Few Good Men.
Oh,
Noah Wiley's one of the young soldiers on the stand in A Few Good Men.
that's a heck of a movie right there.
Oh, so good. Aaron Sorkin wrote that.
He did. Oh my gosh. There Goes My Baby, 1994. Kind of a cool movie. Kind of like a much more serious, like Dazed and Confused, but for the beginning of the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of tragedy going on, but it's got it where it counts. Rick Schroeder. It was like one of his first big teenager roles, or like upper teenager roles.
Yeah.
So apparently Mark Ruffalo plays somebody named JD in that. I don't know how old he would have been. There you have it, Mark Ruffalo.
All right.
Let's hear it for him. Oh yeah, I wanted to show
Let's
you
hear it
this
for the whole.
this really cool thing. So on the Internet Movie Database, IMDb.com, which
as I like to call
we're
it.
big fans of here. If you look up my name, Steve Moulton, you're going to see a new poster for a movie I was in, currently called
Leprechaun, Long Arm. What?
currently called All About the Money, and they just put up this poster, and it's pretty sweet.
It is pretty sweet. That's a really good poster, actually.
So
Are
check
you on
out
the poster?
No, I have a pretty small part in it.
A little Trejo action there, though.
Trejo's in there. Casper Van Dien, one of my heroes from Starship
Oh,
Troopers,
yeah.
is in there. Blake Freeman brought me in. Great dude. Eddie Griffin was laughing at all my jokes while he was off camera and I was on.
What was
Great guy.
Casper Van Dien's...
Tarzan.
what was his character in
Starship Troopers. Johnny Rico.
Rico. I was trying to think of his last name. Rico's Roughnecks, right?
Rico's Roughnecks. Yeah, it goes from Radcheck's Roughnecks to Rico's Roughnecks.
That's a cool movie.
I love it.
It's a really, really cool movie.
Oscar-winning movie.
Misunderstood, I think, that film.
Absolutely. And still a total blast to watch.
Yeah. Jake Busey.
I do worry about Starship Troopers because, as you said, misunderstood. I was very close to going into the military after seeing that movie.
Oh, wow.
Specifically because I wanted to write the next Starship Troopers. And I thought, I'm 19 years old. I should just go into the military. What else am I doing with my life right now? Exactly.
Direction that I think you wanted.
And fortunately, I was about 50 pounds too heavy at the time. And then I discovered that, no, I'm supposed to be an actor.
I think I heard they were maybe remaking that or rebooting it.
I wouldn't be surprised by either, really. I mean,
I wouldn't mind seeing a reboot.
Yeah.
But I want to see the cast come back. Whom survived? The cast that survived. I would like to see them come back for like a reboot.
There have been a few animated. Well, there have been a couple sequels.
Yeah.
There have been a few animated versions where Johnny Rico is essentially like the new Sky Marshal, like president of Earth.
Oh wow!
And so it's basically like that first story is him, getting his citizenship by joining the military, and he just keeps rising and rising. And then, is he the good guy? Is he the bad guy? Once he's president, who's to say?
Yeah,
he's in charge of a whole planet.
We're about to see. I'm not saying we're about to. We may be seeing in real life a really similar machine as to what they were fighting with the. I'm falling all over myself today.
A similar machine?
Yeah, the propaganda machine is about to spin up in the real world, and I think people go watch Starship Troopers and look at this commentary on military propaganda,
right?
And how they get young men to give their lives.
And I want to clarify here: respect to all the troops and their families.
Hey man, I couldn't kill another person. I couldn't put myself in harm's way like that. Like,
I'm not going to comment on whether or not I could or not.
I don't think I could. I don't think I could.
I like to,
I could maybe be a medic or something, but I couldn't.
Oh, you'd go the Hacksaw Ridge route.
Yeah. I won't pick up a gun.
But yeah, I almost went in when I was 19, and then I was just way too heavy, and I'm kind of okay with that now. I think I found my true calling, and
I'd never make one of those hikes either.
Yeah, man, those
boot camp hikes. Yeah,
rough.
Yep.
So, mad respect to our troops.
Yeah, of course.
But also, let's give peace a chance.
Sure.
All our troops, I want you to get home safely and get back to your families.
Yeah.
Moment of silence, I guess. I don't know.
No,
What do we? It's such a
moment of silence.
It's a dark time. If you're listening to this, we're living in a beautiful time. That's also a dark time.
I'm gonna bring up something else that's kind of sad.
Oh boy.
And it's gonna date the episode a little bit. Jonathan Demme passed away.
I know, right?
I'm a little crushed by it. One of my favorite directors. This is, directors have several different jobs that they really have to. Some directors are really good visually. Some directors are really good with talent, and helping craft character. This was a guy who was like really special and really understood how the visuals and the characters really worked well together.
For
and
real.
He knew how to make the viewer feel like the main character no matter who was on screen. So
that's a very good point.
Silence of the Lambs is a really good example of that.
Right.
Where whenever Clarice is on screen and it's her scene, you feel like you're Clarice. And so like when you spoiler alert, when you get to the end of the movie and she goes into Jane Gum's house.
Yeah.
Jane Gum. Jane Gum, no S.
Can I use your phone?
And the camera is like a little spider up in the corner. And not only is that like a really telling, full of subtext kind of camera shot, but you immediately feel the same peril that she's in.
Yeah.
You feel this like so. He did such a, and when it's Hannibal Lecter on screen, you feel powerful, like he just knew how to make you feel like you were the main character. And even Ted Levine's scenes, like when he's like stalking that girl,
oh boy,
with the cast and trying to put the couch in the
in
the van.
Size 8? What? It's funny you mentioned that because I'd never really put that together before. But one of the shots that always sticks in my mind from Silence of the Lambs is, there's a scene change, and it opens on like this really tight close-up of a woman looking straight into the camera and talking to Clarice. And so, yeah, like in that moment, she's looking straight into our eyes, talking to us, and we are Clarice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, Clarice. Get it? Because we're Clarice.
And that famous misdirect in the scene where she goes to ring the doorbell.
Oh, forget about it, dude.
With the FBI agents, like, you feel the excitement that they are feeling.
Yep.
Like, they're, like, pumped and ready to go, and you think this is, like, happening.
Yeah.
He was, Philadelphia, I think probably Tom Hanks' best role. I mean, Forrest Gump is really great.
Forrest Gump can go away for a while.
Okay.
Like, no offense, but it's never gone away. That movie's never gone away.
No. I mean, Forrest Gump is good. It was, like, iconic, and it was...
But it's like we've never had a chance to, like, forget about Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
It's just always been here since it came out.
But Tom Hanks in Philadelphia, I think, is, like, something really... There's something really special about that. Denzel.
Yeah.
There's something really special about that film and the conversation that it inspired.
For sure.
Because... There was a long period of time where people were afraid of HIV and AIDS in a way that wasn't rational. Yeah, and I think the times were changing around this time too. But that movie, I think, helped inspire an important conversation and how we treat people who were infected and people just as human beings, sick people as human beings. Man, Jonathan Demme just he had esophageal cancer.
Ooh, that's what it was?
And as well as complications from heart disease.
Oh,
and
man.
I don't know if you remember Ted Demme.
Right.
Had a heart attack.
Beautiful Girls, one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's great. He had a heart attack on a basketball court, I think.
Oh, jeez.
That was Jonathan Demme's nephew. Also,
I always thought they were cousins.
No, nephew.
Pretty close.
Also had coronary disease.
Oh, man.
So, it's just sad. It's real sad
stuff. Well, Jonathan Demme, rest in peace, good sir. Director of Silence of the Lambs, maybe the only Oscar-winning horror movie?
Oh, boy, you're asking me a question now that I don't know the answer to.
It's a horror movie that won Best Picture.
It's probably the only one that won Best... Yeah, probably the only one that won Best Picture, I guess. I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
Very clever, Dr. Lecter.
It depends on how you define a horror movie too. I mean, there's a lot of like things that are horrific.
Yeah, we could go on and on with the.
We don't have to get into genres today.
With that one,
we should do an episode about genres. And just like break down different genres and like what they sort of consist of and sort of what the requirements are to fit in a genre. Maybe we'll do that. I also wouldn't
qualified for that sort of thing.
I feel like maybe we should do some 101 episodes of the podcast. Like,
on 101?
A 101. Yeah, like rules for attending the cinema.
Boy.
Yeah?
I mean, just as great as that would be.
Yeah.
No matter how many millions of people might listen to it.
Yeah.
None of the jerks that break all the rules are listening to podcasts.
You never know, though.
They're all up their own butts with coconuts.
The thing, though, is that we all have friends. Steve's over there sniffling. We all have friends who commit the cinema sins, the movie crimes.
Yeah.
And we let it go. So it's on us to be like, yo, you got to keep that phone off in the movie theater, homie. You know, it's on us to just be like, hey, look. That's a good point. We got to rein it in. And so maybe if we have a conversation, maybe we start a conversation through the podcast about, hey, wear deodorant when you go to the movie theater. Oh. You know, stuff like that.
Don't, oh man. So when I went to see Kong Skull Island a couple of weeks ago, 10 minutes into the movie, 10 minutes into the movie, not just the trailers.
10 minutes in.
This was in a theater with assigned seats, reclining leather seats. The two seats to my right were empty.
Yep.
10 minutes into the movie, a couple comes in with a dog
Yeah.
A very well-behaved, adorable dog, but still a dog in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And bag after bag after bag of noisy snacks. And
Were they movie theater snacks, or were they brought from home snacks?
Brought from home snacks.
That's the problem.
And when the movie ended, the dog walked up and started sniffing around me, and I was like, cool, I love a dog. I'm going to just be nice and be glad to meet this dog instead of yell at these fools. And then when they left and the lights came up and me and my buddy left, because I've gotten to the point where I just stay through the credits on every movie now, orange peels all over the floor. They'd been peeling oranges silently after taking them out of these noisy bags. And this poor dog, who never once barked and only moved around a little, has to live with these people.
That's a bummer.
It was a bummer, man. But so don't do any of what they did. But, you know, yeah, there's so many rules. I mean, I'm a little guilty. Like, I was checking my phone a little bit during Power Rangers a couple of weeks ago. But I was also in the very back row.
You know how I feel about that.
I was in the very back row, and I was cloaking it as best as I could.
No, you can't cloak it. You can't cloak it.
But what I like to do is put the phone under my shirt and then look down my collar.
But that's A, I don't believe you.
I do.
B,
I don't remember to do it every time, but I do.
It's still really distracting. Like, big movements can be just as bad as a bright screen.
Yeah, but
Elbows flying around.
But also, like, in any movie theater I'm in, if I'm breaking the rules, it's only because I've been sitting there going, okay, well, everybody's breaking these rules. I need to check my phone.
I would rather you get up and walk across me and leave the theater.
Then just look down my own shirt.
Absolutely.
Check out my wonderful man boobs.
Absolutely.
But they're nice.
There, he's jiggling them, you guys.
Oh, if you could have seen it, podcast land.
It was like the little peck thing that Hulk Hogan does.
Is that thing recording? I feel like the red hasn't moved at all.
No, it's totally moving.
Oh,
Look
okay,
at it go.
there it goes. It's sort of jumping a half an inch.
Look at her go.
What other movies have we seen? What movie are we discussing today?
We're going to discuss Tootsie. But I do want to talk about a theater movie, but I'm not going to save it for the end.
All right,
because I don't want to talk spoilers.
Let's dive in, man.
We went together and saw Colossal.
We did.
With Anne Hathaway.
That feels like so long ago.
Oh, that reminds me. Jonathan Demme also did Rachel Getting Married.
Oh, yeah.
Which a lot of people have said is Anne Hathaway's best film.
Yeah. Wasn't she nominated for an Oscar in that?
Yeah, I mean, she technically won for Les Mis, but
that was her first nomination, though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And people say that like her best character, and
wow.
And if Jonathan Demme film. And I have heard many people say that Colossal is her best film since Rachel Getting Married.
I've been hearing a lot of great things. One of those things I heard on an episode of WTF with Mark Maron, where he was interviewing Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
She's a terrific interview. Wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful.
She seems very funny and down to earth.
I love her, dude.
Yeah.
Wes, I love her, bro.
Calm down. What if she listens to this podcast? Then you're going to frighten her away.
Anne Hathaway, you're great. We'd love to have you as a guest. I will behave, and you're wonderful. Please keep making wonderful movies.
Yeah. So Colossal, this great film, very unique.
Man, how to even explain it without spoiling
it's one of those things where I've told multiple people, like, you have to really go into it with an open mind, because I feel like the trailer doesn't really reflect the film that well. Like, the trailer makes it look like a comedy, like a straight-up comedy.
Yeah.
And it's not a straight-up comedy. It definitely has funny stuff in it.
Yeah.
But after having told people that and having seen it and given more thought to it, I realized this movie is impossible to cut a trailer for.
Right.
And be true to what it is.
Right.
It's a lot more, and you can't really talk about it without giving away the plot twists.
Right.
So
I'll say this.
Yeah.
The movie starts with a very significant event.
Yep.
A fictional event.
Yep.
But a very significant event. And then jumps forward, 25 years? I think it says 25 years.
Something like that, yeah.
To the main character having some issues in her relationship with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then she goes forward to deal with them in a way that I don't think any movie has ever possibly done ever. And it's just like, I didn't see the trailer. I don't think I've still seen a trailer for this.
Yeah.
But when you invited me to it, I was like, I'm just not going to look at anything and go.
Yeah.
And I never expected that movie. That was so great and funny and yeah, I've never seen a jumping off point like that. Incredible.
It's it's interesting to have seen people's reactions to it, because I think for the most part, people really dig it.
Yeah.
Some people don't like it.
Some people are thinking they're too cool for school.
Well, I'll address that in a second. But some people,
TCFS.
Some people, I think, maybe don't understand all of it, and they don't. They're not okay with weird. And, you do have to be a little okay with weird.
I guess. Yeah. See, I was born into weird, so I almost can't even.
But I found that a lot of the people that don't like it, are kind of curmudgeonly older white guys.
Interesting.
It's not that interesting to me. I can't fully on mic.
I can think of exactly why.
Yeah, but if you see the movie, I think you'll understand. There's some old sensibility that's not really looked at in a positive light. I want to go much deeper into that comment, but
I think I am on the exact page you're talking about, my friend.
And I think that's why. I think that's why some people don't like the film. Like, you look at guys like Rex Reed, who didn't like the movie, and
really, I didn't know Rex Reed was still alive.
Yeah, he's kind of a curmudgeonly old white guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of cranky and doesn't like a lot of stuff anymore. So
did Rex Reed ever like stuff?
I mean, bad
I feel
stuff.
like half the charm of seeing his reviews on TV when I was a kid
stuff.
Is he was just gonna bee slap it.
Yeah, but yeah. So, anyways, I think the movie's really, really special.
Yeah. Fully agree.
And
just go see it, folks. See Colossal.
Go see it. It did a pretty good steady rise. It started in 4 whole theaters.
That's it?
It started in 4 theaters.
And we were in one of them. And it had the highest per screen average. Cool.
The weekend that it was only in 4 theaters. Now, it's a little easier to do when you're only in 4 theaters.
Touché.
To do that. But it has I believe it still has a better Rotten Tomato rating than Beauty and the Beast.
Wow.
So,
can I tell you a secret that some find awful?
Yes.
I've never seen either Beauty and the Beast.
We should watch the animated one sometime.
I almost don't care to.
You know what, though? Let me give you my pitch on why we should watch it. You were talking about Silence of the Lambs being the only horror film?
Yeah.
It's the only animated film to be nominated for Best Picture. It was nominated the same year as Silence of the Lambs. And had Silence of the Lambs not happened that year, I think Beauty and the Beast absolutely would have won.
Wow.
So,
all right.
So that's my pitch. I think you should at least watch the animated one. And honestly, I haven't seen the live action one.
Neither have I.
But I have seen the stage play.
Oh, yeah?
The musical. And that's fantastic. If you ever have an opportunity to go see it. I mean, I think that's...
The Disney stage play.
Yeah, I think it's essentially what the movie is.
Cool.
With like a couple added songs and stuff, because there's extra stuff. But I think like the special effects and things are probably more interesting in person than on a movie screen.
I love theater craft, man. I love seeing how they're like... How are you going to make a little cup come to life and talk to you on a stage?
It's cool. That's pretty cool.
All right.
And if we decide to watch it, I've got it in 3D. 2D animation in 3D.
Whoa.
Pretty fancy.
That is fancy. I don't even know if my brain could handle that. Of course it could.
It's old school.
I sat through Wes Craven's My Soul to Keep in 3D.
Yeah, you're telling me that.
Which was not shot in 3D.
Yeah.
What next, man?
Should we talk about Tootsie?
Yes, let's. But I almost feel like we're forgetting to touch a major base.
We haven't talked about trailers. I haven't seen a lot of trailers.
I've seen the new Star Wars trailer.
I have not seen the new Star Wars trailer, so please don't talk about that.
I've seen the newest Guardians trailer.
I've not seen the newest Guardians trailer. I've seen the Alien Covenant trailer.
Ooh, me too.
That's pretty exciting. That's coming up soon. Did you see Reebok is doing Alien-inspired shoes?
No.
Yeah, they're high tops, and apparently they did it before, and they were only available in women's sizes.
That's cool.
Cool, but frustrating if you're a dude.
Yeah, I want Bishop shoes.
Yeah, they're doing 2 different shoes, and they're gonna be available in all sizes this time.
Nice.
One pair of shoes are supposed to look kind of like the Queen Alien.
Ooh.
And the other are red with black stripes to look like the Power Loader.
Nice.
Yeah. Not red, yellow with black stripes. I said red with black stripes. Yellow with black stripes.
Yeah.
Look like the power loader.
The power loader was yellow. Get your... What'd she say? Get away from her?
Get away from her, you bitch. And which is like was referenced in Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, it kind of was, huh? Mrs. Weasley.
Absolutely was. Very intentional. It's even in the book.
Yeah. I just figured it was Mrs. Weasley just being like, now I'm getting mean.
No, that's a straight up alien reference for show.
I suppose it could be. I love Mrs. Weasley.
I like Mrs. Weasley too. I like all the Weasleys.
I said I love her.
You know, I read recently that...
Don't say it. Say it.
Arthur Weasley was originally going to die. She had actually written that she was going to kill him.
Whoa. Yeah, there is something kind of cheap about having... Oh, look, spoiler alert if you haven't read the Harry Potter
Spoiler alert
books.
for Harry Potter, okay.
About having a twin die. Because it's like he's a twin, so in a way there's one of them left over.
I think it's more tragic because there's that
It's all tragic, man.
Well, but they were like so a part of each other. They were never a character separate from each other, ever.
Yeah, very
in
true.
that series, they were always one character.
Good point.
So it's like kind of heartbreaking.
Fred and
There's a lot about that ending that was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And now they got a new Harry Potter coming out. Not a new Harry Potter, a new something in that Fantastic Beasts sequel.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's called Fantastic Beasts 2.
No, they're making...
They haven't named it, have they?
Trying to remember which book they're making. Because, yeah, it's like basically these are all going to be based on their school books, right?
No. This is a straight up, follow-up to... It's like Eddie Redmayne's coming back. And, like, the cast is coming back. And they cast Albus Dumbledore. A young Albus Dumbledore.
Whoa, who?
Jude Law.
I like it.
I like it too. I like it a lot.
Jude Law as a young Bulldor.
A young Bulldor. Yeah. That's not it. We got off of trailers. So we've seen Alien Covenant. It looks cool.
Yeah. At Power Rangers, I remember seeing a really good trailer for... I don't know. But you know a movie I didn't go see based on the trailer?
What's that?
Life.
I didn't see it. I'll see it eventually.
I liked the rumor that went around about Life. That was pretty funny.
I didn't hear the rumor, so don't tell me.
Well, it's a non-spoiler.
Well, if it was a rumor, then I know it's not true.
Right.
So don't tell me, because maybe... Just don't tell me.
Well, it's completely impossible.
Don't tell me!
But it's funny.
Okay, go ahead and tell me.
Have you seen the trailer for Life?
Yeah, like a million times.
Okay.
I played in front of like everything I've seen.
So somebody started a pretty funny rumor that Life was actually going to be a prequel to the Venom movie.
That would have been cool.
It would have been cool, but pretty unlikely.
Well, yeah, isn't Life like Warner Brothers?
Probably, yeah. But I mean, still, it's a funny idea.
I don't know that it's
like,
Warner Brothers.
I tried to start a hoax back in 2005 that Mickey Rourke's character in Sin City was Wolverine, who had left the X-Men and swore to never use his claws again. And he was calling himself Marv as an homage to Marvel Comics.
Nah.
And very few people believed me.
I like the comics stuff in Logan, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice touch.
That was a wild, wild touch. Logan, how about it? How many times have you seen it?
Once.
I've seen it twice.
I'll get it when it comes out, but I don't know if I need to run back out and see it again.
I think it was better the second time.
I had some problems with it as they do all the X-Men movies. I don't like that it really feels like it's a completely different, like it's an alternate universe.
Why not?
Because I kind of wanted something that took place in the universe of X-Men that we already knew.
Yeah, that's true. I thought it was a cool idea.
It made me feel like the questions that they intentionally left unanswered didn't really matter in the end because it had nothing to do with the movies we'd already seen.
There is that.
So
there is that going on. There sure is. This might have been the first movie where Wolverine didn't have to kill a woman. He's had to kill a lot of women in his movies.
Yeah.
It's pretty messed up. Or at least fight them viciously.
Doesn't he fight a woman in the movie?
Fights Mystique in part one.
No, in Logan he does.
Not that I remember.
I thought he did.
No, the main bad dudes are all dudes.
Huh. Could have sworn there was a woman in there.
I mean, there's the nurse lady, but he doesn't fight her.
No. From Orange is the New Black.
There's the farmer lady, but he doesn't fight her.
Yeah.
I think this is the first one where he doesn't have to have a final fight with a lady.
So I had a thought occurred to me, since we're on the topic of superheroes and potential movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Midnight Sun.
Not Midnight Sun.
Darn it.
We're going to talk about my favorite superhero. Spider-Man.
I was about to come up with a really good joke version of your favorite superhero.
Sorry.
Hang on, take it again. We're going to talk about... Say it.
We're going to talk about...
Say the whole sentence. We're going to talk about
We're going to talk about my favorite character.
Elongated Man.
That was such a letdown, dude.
Dr. Light.
Okay, so I had this idea the other day, and I'm sure there's other people that have had that idea, but I haven't really seen people talking about it.
All right.
Because I think people are on another thread for this theory.
Okay.
Do you know the Thanos theory with the Infinity Stones for the Marvel Universe?
Let's say I don't, because I don't think I do.
So all of the stones up to this point, where they find them or what they've been a part of, that thing, whether it's the staff or whatever, is a letter in the name Thanos, and the only one that hasn't been found is H. So, it's true.
I guess that's true.
It's absolutely true, and it seems as if Marvel has sort of said, "Yeah, this is a true theory." What do you come up with here?
Trying to think of all the different things it's been like. Thor 2. What was that thing found in? It's just in kind of like a rectangular.
Yeah, well, it's not always what it's found in. It's sometimes who finds it, or I can pull it up. I can pull it up and tell you let
the listener have fun finding it themselves.
So, anyways, H is the remaining letter.
Interesting.
And everybody has been pretty set on Thor Ragnarok being the where they find the last stone.
That would make a lot of sense.
It would make a lot of sense. Hold on, because of they set that thing up in Age of Ultron with Thor having that vision.
Yeah.
What are you gasping about over there?
Well, a pretty significant letter H.
Yeah, in the Thor universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are two potentials in Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
There is one. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'll just say it's tied to Cate Blanchett's character.
Oh, okay.
And the other is. You want to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, go say it.
Boom, bling, blong, bling.
What?
Blong, bling, blong, blong, bling.
What are you doing?
Incredible Hulk.
No. Well, that'd be interesting.
The 70s TV series.
Not the one that most people
that's the H I was thinking of.
Most people are saying Heimdall.
Heimdall will be the next H.
Because he's in that flashback and he doesn't have eyes.
Ooh.
And because it's all white in his eyes in that flashback, and he talks about, I see everything. Ooh. You can't see it. It's going to kill us all. That kind of thing. And I think maybe this last stone allows things to be hidden from the real world, like almost like it doesn't exist. So that would make sense for Heimdall to be a part of that.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking,
whoa.
If I was Marvel, I'd want to throw people off. I'd want to just really surprise people, and they have an opportunity to unite the Marvel Universe in such a strong way.
Yeah.
And there's a new Spider-Man movie coming out called
Homecoming.
Starts with the letter
H.
So what if the last stone is in Spider-Man Homecoming?
Whoa, dude.
How cool would that be?
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, we know Tony Stark is in the new Spider-Man movie.
Man, he is all over that trailer.
Yeah. I haven't watched the new trailer.
You know what? That was the really cool trailer I saw at Power Rangers.
Oh, okay.
It was the first time I'd seen the first Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. I'd been putting it off all this time.
Oh, the first one, not the new one.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one's cool.
Very cool.
I'm very excited about it.
But boy, oh boy, is there a lot of Iron Man in there.
I have mixed feelings about his suit, but I'm okay with it.
Spider-Man suit?
Yeah, it's a little too techy. But,
I understand. I mean, he is a scientist.
I mean, except that he's not doing it. It's Tony Stark doing
yeah,
it.
that's
you know?
true.
So I'm a little bit down on that, but it's not like it ruins it for me. It's not going to make me not see it. I'm so excited. I feel like they have the most true to comic Spider-Man in their hands.
Sorry, Toby, but things change. That's
I like
all.
the Andrew Garfield one too. I thought he was a really great Peter.
I think he did a great job as Peter. I feel like, unfortunately, the movies as a whole were just kind of like,
There was a lot of missteps.
that's how I
There
felt.
were some great things though. His chemistry with Gwen, the
Wonderful.
fact that Gwen was the girl,
Totally fine.
yeah.
But there was just so much like that.
Yeah.
I can't come up with words for that feeling.
All right, I'm gonna get off the superhero thing now,
Okay.
so we can talk about
Yeah,
Tootsie.
we could talk superheroes forever.
Tootsie.
Tootsie.
Well, you talked about life and Venom, and made me think about Spider-Man.
I understand. No, I was glad to have the conversation. I'm just saying you and I could talk superheroes
Yeah, they're
forever.
sadly moving forward with Venom too,
mean,
which is a bad idea. But
We barely scraped the iceberg on Midnight Sun.
even in Midnight.
I got a Spider-Man and a Daredevil looking at me from this table over here.
Yeah,
And an Iron Man and a Wolverine. And
yeah. We talked about 3 of those guys.
Loki's got his back turned to me. That's fine. Should we even talk about Iron Fist? No, that's a TV show. Never mind.
You can do a 1-sentence review of Iron Fist if you want. I'll do my.
No, I didn't want to.
I'll do one.
Go for it.
Not as bad as people make it out to be.
Fair enough.
That's it. That's all I'll say.
I'll do a 2-word review of Iron Fist.
Okay, go ahead.
Jessica Henwick.
2 words. Well, I guess it's 2 words in a sound.
2 words in a sound.
Onomatopoeia.
An onomatopoeia, I guess. How would you spell that?
Onomatopoeia?
No, the rrr, maybe just a series
Just
of
a
R's.
bunch of R's, yeah.
Maybe an H somewhere here and there.
If you guys want to have a conversation about Iron Fist, feel free to hit me up on
VTRT movies?
at VTRT Movies, and we'll discuss why I don't think it's as bad as people make it out
Cool.
to be.
I'm going to tweet about this exact episode that we're recording.
Okay, let's actually talk about something. As soon as you get done with that tweet, let's do it. We're just going to wait for you. We're going to sit here and watch you.
I'm literally just going to be like, hey, everybody, watch Tootsie, and our new episode's coming soon.
Listening to you tap your phone.
Oh.
Tick, 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 tick. So we watched this movie, Tootsie, with Dustin Hoffman. I had this question about why it was called Tootsie, and we learned about it. Should I get into that now? Whoa, there's a tree about to fall over out there.
No, don't say that.
That's crazy. Not
on my car, I hope.
no, like a block away, I can see it just really just bending in the wind.
Oh my gosh.
Big
If you're a
palm tree.
listener and you're not in Los Angeles, the wind has been absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I will take insane wind over like blizzard country and hurricane country and what have you, but the wind has been really nuts the last couple
And
of
I've
days.
moved into an area that's just off of like the mountains.
Oh yeah.
Like, just off the hills, so like the wind comes off of that really
You get
hard.
that mountain butt wind.
Yeah.
Blows off the
There's
mountain's
a palm
butt.
tree just bending in the wind out
Oh
there.
my gosh, scary.
So I was curious about why it was called Tootsie, where that came from. Should I get into that now while you're doing your tweet? He can't even hear me, you guys.
Yeah, go right ahead, get into it.
So
while I'm doing my tweet.
apparently that's what Dustin Hoffman's mom used to call him.
Aw,
Tootsie. Little Tootsie.
that's cute.
Yeah. Thought that was kind of a neat little
Tootsie.
thing.
And there's also that bit in the movie when...
They work it into the script for sure.
yeah.
All right, so Tootsie is... what would you say this movie's about?
I'd say it's a comedy about double standards, deception.
Would you argue that it's a feminism movie?
A little bit, for sure.
So,
Certainly for its time it was.
I had a hard time with this film. You know that.
Sure.
I feel like it wanted to be a feminism movie, but wasn't.
right. Yeah, I mean,
I feel like the things that people are celebrating about this film aren't really there. Like, it was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we're celebrating the intentions of this film, but the film didn't actually execute what I think the intentions were.
all right.
Which was the sort of like women equality and what's the word I'm looking for? Like that sort of male chauvinist,
Misogyny?
misogynist, yeah. And it was like an anti-misogyny film, but it pulls its punch. You know, like it gets this typical male Hollywood thing on the ropes, and then steps away and lets the bell ring.
Yeah.
And I was kind of disappointed with it. I think that's sort of my problem the whole movie. As Steve knows, we were watching it, and I just was kind of rolling my eyes and going, I'm ready for it to be over, because it's well made. The performances are good. It's very funny at times, but it just missed the mark for me time and time again. And I wanted it to be progressive, and it wasn't really. And I think I know why.
Yeah.
You know, you have this movie about a guy, quote unquote, learning what it's like to be a woman, like what it's like for life as women.
Sure.
Two things with that.
But then still kind of being a player.
Well, but one, it's written, directed, starring men.
True.
And it's written from a man's perspective.
Also true.
The other thing is the women in...
Oh, Elaine May is uncredited as a writer on this movie.
Yeah, okay.
So that,
of course,
helps your case, really.
Of course she's uncredited. The character, what's the character's name? Not Michael, but his female
Dorothy Michaels. He was Michael Dorsey, and then his character, and then Tootsie was Dorothy Michaels.
Yeah, I remember she was Emily Kimberly in the show.
Yeah, Dr. Emily Kimberly.
But so like that character is like a powerful person. She wasn't a normal woman. He didn't learn what it's like to be a normal woman. He learned what it was like to be a famous woman.
Yeah, true.
You know, and that's the other mark that I feel like they missed is like, he fell in love with a famous woman.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Jessica Lange.
There's a perfectly good. I shouldn't say perfectly good, like she's like a piece of meat. There's this other woman in his life.
Yeah, played by Terry Garr,
who's a very suitable match for him.
She's beautiful.
Well, not just beautiful, but she likes the same things that he likes.
Right.
And she cares about him, and she's
totally
interested in him. Yeah. And he treats her like meat.
She understands his actor struggle. Yeah. He's kind of a jerk to her.
So why couldn't he have ended up with... Why does it have to... Why does it have to be about him pursuing the other famous woman?
That's a great question.
It doesn't feel equal. It feels unearned and like told from an elitist like point of view.
Yeah.
And I think you see this with celebrities a lot, where you have or people in power.
Yeah.
Or people with a lot of money. You look at like Donald Trump.
Right.
And people are attracted to...
Well, are you suggesting Melania wouldn't be with him if he weren't a rich guy?
Like he just immediately left. But I mean,
help us, God.
People with money and people with power people are attracted to that.
Yeah.
People with immense talent, people are attracted to that. So just like, I don't know, it was disappointing because they make a point of like having people be attracted to Dorothy.
Yeah.
But also saying that she's ugly throughout the film.
There's quite a lot of that, actually.
And there's even a moment where Michael says, I just wish Dorothy was prettier. She deserves that.
Ooh.
And it's a telling moment, and it's a very sweet moment, because you see like this character is sort of growing.
Sure.
But it's also sort of a moment that like kind of falls on deaf ears. Like you're missing the point.
Yeah. That's very good. A lot of very good points.
If she was unattractive and not powerful, what would that say about the film? What would that mean? You know, like, what is this world that they built?
That would be Just One of the Guys, starring William Zabka and the girl from Just One of the Guys.
About the girl that goes undercover as a guy?
As a high school reporter.
What is that? Is that Taming of the Shrew? What is that?
No, but maybe closer to 12th Night. Here's something to consider. Those are all very good points, and I largely agree with you. You and I have essentially grown up only in a post-Tootsie world. This movie's 1982. I didn't have a really good grasp on anything in 1982.
I mean, I was consuming media in 1982 pretty big.
Sure.
I was watching HBO as a kid.
I was too. I don't remember a lot of not necessarily the news and Sniglets and whatnot. But, I mean, think about how young we were in 82.
Sure.
Like, what... You know, so all I'm saying is, I'm not saying that by any means that makes it right, but it's just sort of like the ideas have evolved, the movement has evolved, and what have you. And so it's sort of like, well, in 1982, this was a good step forward.
I'm with you if that's their intention. If their intention is to say, look at Michael and how he treats women, and he doesn't end up learning his lesson. He doesn't end up growing, really.
Sure.
Like, he only grows a little bit in the film. By the end of the movie, we see that he hasn't really
he's I mean, if you're listening, you should have watched Tootsie. He gets the cojones to expose himself as a guy who's been, playing a woman
but
this
mostly
whole time.
for selfish reasons.
Sure, absolutely. Because he does it to win over Lang.
He does it to win over Lang, and he does it because he doesn't want to do the show anymore. Remember,
Right.
he's trying to sabotage himself.
Right.
So he does this quote unquote noble gesture out of really, really selfish things because he wants the girl.
That's a good point.
And he wants to get out of this contract.
But he writes the hell out of that moment.
And then he kind of gets the girl at the end.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really grow. He doesn't really learn. He gets his play that he's always wanted to do with his friend.
Oh, yeah.
He gets all those things. So there's no compare it with a movie like MASH, where you have the misogyny and you have the racism, but it's intentional.
Yeah.
They're saying something with that, and they're saying it's important that this is there, and it's important that these characters are just who they are. Because that movie's not about those guys growing. It's about breaking people down and turning them into what you want them to be.
Yeah. How do these guys get through a war?
Right.
This way, unfortunately.
We don't get some sort of noble message out of Tootsie, really, other than what the intention is. And the intention is women don't get a fair shake.
Sure, yeah.
So I get what you're saying. I can't quite agree with it because I feel like that wasn't intended. I think the intention is, like I said before, just
like they missed the mark, or that the intention's different. Completely.
I think they just missed the mark. I think they just didn't execute. I think they. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm guilty of misogyny in Hollywood. My tastes and preferences have changed over time, and I grew up learning about film and understanding film as a man's thing, and that when you look at the history of film, and it used to be that cameras were so big.
Yeah.
And women didn't have the builds. It wasn't common for women to have the builds at the time.
Yeah.
To carry the equipment. And times have changed. Cameras have gotten smaller. Women have changed what their builds are like.
Yeah.
It's more common for women to be okay with being stronger.
Yeah.
Physically, where that used to be kind of looked down on. So, times have changed, and I've seen that my tastes have had to change. And I think as more women have been given the opportunity to make more film, I think women in film have grown.
Sure.
Not just in numbers, but in talent as well. Because, you can only get better at something if you do it.
Right. This chair keeps farting every time I move my leg. That's not me farting.
But, I definitely came from a perspective learning film that women weren't as good of filmmakers as men.
Wow.
And
View the Right Thing reminds you that the views Wes Weisenhofer is expressing right now are solely his. No, I know. I'm
not views now. I want to be transparent and honest about I don't know everything about film.
Sure.
And the only way that I can grow as a filmmaker is to acknowledge my weaknesses and expose myself to as many different types of film as possible, and
that's a good attitude to have.
Understanding that I don't know everything, that I'm still learning. I'm always learning. I'm taking a class right now.
Cool.
So,
continue.
But yeah, I just I would have liked to have seen. We talked about Colossal before.
Yeah.
That's a really great example of gender politics and roles that genders play.
Yeah.
I get
that's
that
35 years after Tootsie.
Yeah, I know.
35 years later, Colossal got to happen.
It's just hard to. It's again, if their intention had been to make some sort of commentary about him not growing as a human being, then I feel like I would have been okay with it. But I never got that out of the movie. I got that they were trying to say it's harder to be a woman than it is a man. You don't get treated as well. You have to deal with all these advances.
Constant advances. From Commandant Lassard of Police Academy.
No matter how much you say no, it doesn't matter.
Well, let's see. Somebody's at the door.
Somebody's at the door.
Somebody's at the door, and it is the... no. It's... darn it. I was trying to make a tasteless joke.
Cool.
But I'm not going to do it. Cause,
way to derail it.
Well, okay, yeah, because I was like, well, I want to say this, but that guy might be dead, so I shouldn't make that joke.
So
I was going to say Sidney Pollack's at the door to punch you in the face, but he passed away in 2008, so it wouldn't be a good joke.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sidney Pollack and his estate and family.
So I'd like to hear people's thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a differing opinion. If you think you have like a perspective that I'm not seeing, I would like to hear it, because I wanted to really like this movie, because it was sort of like, I have sort of known this movie to be sort of a landmark film, like a really important film, and then I watched it and I was just like, I don't get it. I don't get why it's so important, because I feel like it's missing the mark. So Viewsters, please tweet at me.
Tweet at VTRT Movies.
Yep.
Hashtag Tootsie Talk.
Tootsie Talk, I like it. Hashtag Tootsie Talk.
Let us both know, like, hey, what do you think about Tootsie? Again, I think a lot of it comes from the fact that we've come of age in a post-Tootsie world. I mean, I didn't know how to read when Tootsie was in theaters, for crying out loud. I don't even think I could talk in 1982. And so it's like, so here we are. We've always known what Tootsie was. We've known it was out there. We've known it was this movie that people have loved for all these years. Whoa, I whacked the blinds, ladies and gentlemen. And so now to finally take it in as grown men, sure, it's gonna probably fall short of the sort of grandeur that it's amassed over the decades.
Should it be on the AFI Top 100 list? Like, if this was a movie about gay people made in 1982 and they missed the mark on the message, would we have the same feeling about that right now? And
I have no idea.
Would it be considered this hallmark of cinema? I don't know either.
I don't know either.
But if they were like, I apologize, listeners. If they were like if it was about gay people and they're calling people fags,
right?
Like,
which happens in so many movies up until just about 2 or 3 years ago.
But you don't see it a lot in Hallmark films. You don't see it, I mean, by Hallmark, I don't mean the company. I mean landmark films.
Yeah.
Important films on the AFI Top 100 list. You don't see that very often.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just don't. I don't know.
Can I say this?
Yeah, you can say anything you want.
It kind of sounds like somebody needs to watch Tootsie again, and something's telling me it might be you all of my life. I just needed to make that joke. You don't really have to watch it again. I just wanted to sing a little. I don't know any other words to that song, so I'm done singing it.
All right.
Sounds like somebody needs to learn all the words to that song and sing it, Wes. No?
No.
Something's telling Wes it might be Steve. No?
No. Okay.
Darn it. It's this Loki sitting right next to me.
He's jinxing you.
He's not even looking at me and he's whispering bad ideas.
This is the kind of conversation, though, I want to have on View the Right Thing.
Yeah.
I wish every episode could sort of be like... I mean, unfortunately, we don't watch movies like this all the time, or
Very
movies
true.
that give you... I mean, it's tough, especially when you watch a lot of, like, the AFI films. Like, if you're watching a top 100 film, you're watching a movie that's probably not that incendiary, that's going to have a lot of differing opinions. It's probably going to be like, oh, that was a really cool movie, or that was really great, or it was really well made.
Yeah.
You're going to be very complimentary towards it. This is how I felt... This is what I thought I was going to feel watching Sophie's Choice.
Oh,
This is like
our first movie.
Remember, I was like, I didn't want to watch. I vehemently did not want to watch that movie.
Sure.
And because I thought I would feel this way, like this was a pointless movie to watch.
Gotcha.
And I ended up really loving that, and I ended up not really liking this one.
Very interesting. Very interesting indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, those are a lot of really great points. I don't entirely disagree with them. I enjoyed Tootsie.
Sure.
There was a cool piece of trivia in there, and it was that Bill Murray said, "Go ahead and don't show my name in the opening credits because I don't want people to think this is a Bill Murray movie that they're in for." I don't know why I brought that up.
Back when he had zero ego, huh?
I suppose. I imagine there was some going on.
Or, I mean, very little.
But,
I mean, enough for him to say...
Yeah, to be like, hey, go ahead and knock my name out of there.
He played a very much a supporting role. Wasn't in the movie a lot.
Right. Very supporting.
He wasn't like a laugh-a-minute kind of character.
No.
He's actually kind of the straight man to Dustin Hoffman in the film.
I would say this is probably the straightest straight man character I've ever seen Bill Murray play. I mean, other than what?
St. Vincent, maybe. I don't know.
Is he the straight man in that?
Is that the movie Broken Flowers?
Sure. Wow, I haven't seen that in so long.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to like answer your question with a.
No, by all means, I want answers.
I think generally though, you're right. I think generally speaking, he's
right. I mean,
he's always a little bit funny.
This was post Meatballs, but pre Ghostbusters.
Man, Meatballs.
I think this was post Stripes even.
I love Meatballs a lot.
I haven't watched Meatballs in so long.
I have it. We can watch it sometime.
Part of me worries that I may have seen Meatballs 2 like twice as many times as I've seen Meatballs 1.
Woody the Webbit.
Me, Ted. Meatballs. Is that in the bucket?
What, Meatballs? No, because we both seen it.
Yeah, true. Good point.
But we can watch it for fun sometime.
Well, we'll watch it
I'll
for
tell you
fun
about
sometime.
my story I'd like to
Let me hear it.
To write sometime.
Are we wrapping up Tootsie Talk?
I don't know. No, I'm not going to tell you the story I want to write. I'm not going to talk about that on the podcast. But it's very much inspired by Meatballs.
Oh, all right. I never did get to go to summer camp as a kid, and so I love summer camp movies.
Here's a nice aside, summer camp related. I recently kickstarted a tabletop RPG, kind of a Dungeons and Dragons style, and it is the Wet Hot American Summer RPG.
Oh, you got in on that?
Yeah.
Nice.
I did not do the level that I would have liked to have done, which is where you got to actually be one of the campers. They would have modeled a character after you.
Oh my god.
I mean, that would have been great.
Wow.
But yeah. Okay, anyways.
How much is it for that level?
Tootsie Talk. I think it was like $500 or something.
Dang, what am I, the Queen of France?
Or $1,000 maybe, I don't know.
Darn it.
Back to Tootsie Talk.
Back to Tootsie Talk. So should we go over the plot of this movie briefly?
I don't know. We can. Go for it.
All right, if for some reason you haven't seen Tootsie, here's the A, B's, and C's of it, right? Michael Dorsey is a struggling New York actor. I wonder if it changes my voice if I have my arms up like this. Michael Dorsey's a struggling New York actor, doing the actor thing, having groups over, reading scripts, what have you, blah, blah, blah. He coaches his friend, played by Terry Garr, for an audition for a role that she does not get. And it's very upsetting. And then he gets the idea to dress as a woman, call himself Dorothy Michaels, and go audition for this role. And he gets the role.
Well, there's also a thing there. Maybe we talk this out a little bit. Maybe I'll find something in here that I'm missing. So there's a couple of things going on. He's teaching because of the old adage, right? Like
those who can't do,
teach. But
those
also
who can't teach Jim. That was from School of Rock.
Yeah.
But also,
he is known to be an incredibly difficult actor to work with.
Right.
And so people don't want to work with anymore, so he's not booking gigs.
Right.
So he goes in as a woman because he knows this part is there. He knows what the part should be.
Right.
Because he's been coaching his friend Terry Garr. And knows, I guess, that she didn't get it because she didn't quote unquote go there.
Yeah.
And so he takes advantage. Go ahead.
And books the role.
He does book the role.
He gets slapped into the middle of a daytime soap opera based on a hospital, sort of like General Hospital, but I forget what they called it. where he's brought in as the new hospital administrator?
Yeah.
Emily Kimberly.
Dr. Emily Kimberly.
Which is hilarious.
It's kind of hard to say.
Dr. Emily Kimberly. Dr. Emily Kimberly.
Emily Kimberly.
I'm taking my time with that. Dr. Emily
Kimberly. It's the
Kimberly.
LYs at the end of the names.
Very confusing. That's why I don't go by Stephen Moulton, because too many n's.
Yeah.
Stephen Moulton? Who needs that? You don't go by Wes or Weizenhofer, right? Wes, Weizen. You get it? We all get it. Vary up those sounds, folks. So, he, disguised as Dorothy, gets the role on a hit daytime soap opera, working with Jessica Lange. I don't even remember her character's name. I was so infatuated every time she came on screen. He's also got to work with a nurse played by Gina Davis, who spends, I'll say it, a decent amount of time in her underwear in this movie. It's a little, I was 3 when this movie came out, folks. It's weird to see Gina Davis that way. Not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's an event for me. Yeah.
What is the movie saying? I'm genuinely asking this. What is the movie saying by suggesting that this is a good role and it's a woman, but no woman could get it?
That's a great question.
Like only a man can get this role. What are they saying about that? I feel like that's another piece of this, of what makes me feel like they undercut this message.
Yeah.
Right,
because a man playing a woman, doing what he thinks a woman does,
right,
gets the role, and then in a way sort of becomes a bit of a hero to women by standing up for herself as Dorothy.
Only a man can inspire women.
Yeah, there is a little bit of that. You know what this is? This is the Kendall Jenner Pepsi commercial of its day.
Is it?
Since our last episode, the Pepsi commercial thing happened. What if Tootsie is the Kendall Jenner Pepsi commercial of its day? Now, I don't think people knew that back then.
But people love Tootsie.
Right.
People hate Kendall Jenner.
But what if something that we learned in Tootsie without even realizing we were learning it is what helped us spot the bull S that was that Pepsi commercial? I don't know, man. This is just an idea I'm having.
So Tootsie is
I've
teaching
eaten
us
a lot
something
of
we don't know.
pot since then. This is the idea I'm having. Not today.
Not today.
Not
folks.
even this month. Oh, yeah, this month. Not this week. Whoa, what if Tootsie is retroactively the Pepsi commercial? Oh, man. I got to talk to Dustin Hoffman about this.
Yeah.
He won't listen. He's not going to return my calls.
So I feel like that kind of furthers my point.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Again, if you're listening, you've watched Tootsie. You know where it goes from here. There's a lot of funny. There's a lot of sad. Durning, Charles Durning. I keep wanting to say Robert Durning. That ain't correct.
Yeah.
Charles Durning plays Jessica Lange's dad, and he falls for Dorothy.
Yeah.
Which is also kind of weird because there was very much a bit of a thing of Jessica Lange's character kind of being like, yeah, new friend, I do want to set you up with my dad. And that's a little kind of like, hey, we're peers, we're coworkers. Don't set me up with your parent, you know what I mean? Well, so that was a bit weird.
Well, I think because she's a woman and she sort of mothers Jessica Lange's character, right?
There is that.
So there's sort of this thing, she's a little bit older.
There's the hair petting scene.
There's that, yeah. I mean... and I thought that scene was actually very kind of sweet because remember I was like, what is he realizing in this moment?
Right.
And again, the fact that I have to ask that question,
right,
tells you. I feel like, and maybe it tells you either I'm out of touch and I don't understand the scene,
yeah,
or the scene is not clear. And I wasn't sure if that was I'm in love with this woman look,
right,
or I'm a terrible person look.
Great question.
And I think it was I'm a terrible person, but I'm not totally sure. Because the scene...
See, when I was watching it, I almost felt like it was a little more like maybe this is a creep. Maybe he's hoping she rolls over and just wants to kiss Dorothy, you know? I don't know.
Because they go there eventually.
That scene gave me the creeps a little bit.
Yeah.
Dang it. I just had another really good place to just slap shot
a little joke in there.
just another stirring rendition of something's telling me it might be you, but
No.
I missed the opportunity. The moment has passed. That train has sailed.
Yes, I agree that there's definitely some moments. I definitely felt like that moment was tender in some way. I just wasn't sure. I couldn't identify what it was. And then there was that moment, like I said before, where he like sort of talks about how he wishes Dorothy was prettier.
Yeah.
And this sort of like, I think all people, not just women, but I think it is common to think about as women not being satisfied with their own looks, because women more than men, that's been sort of placed on our society as more important for women to look presentable and to look pretty and stuff.
It's been flat out drilled into women
Right.
throughout the 20th century.
And especially then.
Yeah.
So I think there's like something sort of identifiable in that moment that's really kind of beautiful.
Agreed.
But again, it's at the same time, see, it's these mixed feelings I have. He has this like really, really beautiful moment, and I wish that he could be okay with how Dorothy looks.
Right.
And maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the point. Is like, I wish all women could feel okay about their bodies, or I wish all women could feel okay about how they look. Maybe that's the point of that. I don't know. I'm not sure the movie's making that point. That's the frustration.
I get you. Like, that point might be there. Did they intend to make that point?
Right.
I don't even know. I can't tell for sure.
Yeah.
What other movie does that? I feel like it always irks me. I don't know. I could think about that all day.
Superman, Quest for Peace.
Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, starring John Cryer and Muriel Hemingway. And,
Christopher Reeve.
well, I was trying to think of the bad guy Superman. 80s muscle guy.
Yeah. So, anyways, he reveals himself because he doesn't want to be in his contract, and
On live television.
and he wants to be honest with the girl that he loves.
Right. And then he kind of gets the girl.
And he kind of gets the girl. He makes friends with the dad, and then he gets the girl. Like, it's just like all okay.
Yeah. I do like the moment when he goes to, to sort of like throw himself at Charles Durning's feet, at the dad's feet. Like,
In the bar.
yeah, like it's it's a brave move. He's like,
Can I buy you a beer?
He sees that he's there, and he's probably expecting a punch in the face, but he just kind of walks right up to him and just stares at him until Durning, acknowledges his presence.
I would argue that that's actually the sweetest scene, that it's clear what their intention is.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like the most meaningful scene where it's very clear what the intention is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something I really love about that scene. Their interaction with each other, and can I buy you a beer? That whole thing was great.
Yeah. Tootsie. It's a movie of mixed messages.
I wonder if he had ended up going back to Terry Garr and getting her in the end, if I would have felt better about it. But then I would have kind of felt like she was doing the whole battered housewife thing. Like, he treated me poorly and I still accepted him back, kind of a thing.
That's a fair concern, too.
Because he doesn't actually treat Jessica Lange poorly. He just lies to everyone.
Yeah.
Which I guess one might argue is treating people poorly.
But
not
for sure.
Not like being in love with someone else and not being honest and sort of lying. Because that was Terry Garr's thing, was like, I'm okay with you having feelings for someone else. I'm not okay with you lying to me about it.
Right. And he continued to lie.
Strongest woman in the movie.
Yeah.
It turns out.
Yeah, true. Other than, like, maybe the director of the show lady. The redhead who directs the show.
Sure, she's kind of inconsequential,
She's
though.
always like, hold it. Keep the camera on Dorothy. I
Yeah.
feel like she says that like 9 times. This just gave me a really great idea.
Tootsie 2. The
No. I was...
How great would that be? The Tootsie.
Whoa. Tootsie 20... Tootsie.
Well, it would be Tootsie, Twotsie. Tootsie.
Tootsie.
The Tootsie.
The Tootsening, coming 2020. It was what you said earlier about like, if he were to get Terry Garr or get Jessica Lange. Really good, pretty recent movie. Might still be on HBO Go right now. I believe you've seen it. Paper Towns, starring Nat Wolff.
I haven't seen it.
I have seen it. The Get Down's Justin Smith.
I have seen Paper Towns.
And Suicide Squad's...
And someone we
what's
know,
her name?
Someone we know hates that movie.
Somebody hates it?
Daniel hates that movie. Daniel and Charlene don't. Charlene watched it without the sound.
And Austin Abrams.
Because it was...
And the myth.
Because it's all telegraphed. It's like all... like very obvious exactly where the movie's going from beginning to end.
All right.
And I guess he was watching it, and then Charlene was watching it without sound and was able to tell him everything that happened in the film.
Whoa.
Which one might argue maybe is bad, but I'm not so sure. Like I think if it's done in an interesting way, it's okay. Like there's plenty of movies that we've seen a million times, but if it's done interesting.
I mean, Weird Science is just Tora, Tora, Tora. Everybody knows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, no, but here's the thing about Paper Towns. Good movie or not,
yeah.
I think it's got a really important message that probably should have started getting shared much earlier, but certainly is really important now in the wake of, like, Yes, All Women and hashtag Not All Men and what have you. And that is that, like, this movie, the message is basically, dudes, like, stop assigning... life-changing infatuation on these women that you're attracted to.
Yeah.
And the movie very much slaps you in the face with that at the end. It's like, and I mean, there's so many movies where that's the whole movie. Say Anything is kind of just Lloyd Dobler's flat-out obsession with Diane Court.
Right. It was a very romantic, like, old school.
Totally agree with you there.
Yeah.
It is. But, like, that's got to change. And I feel like Paper Towns is the first place where I've seen that, where a girl was literally just kind of like, hey, dude, like, I am a living human being, not, a golden statue for you to attain somewhere.
It's an interesting
line. I thought that was pretty cool.
Because I'm not opposed to this idea of, like, it's people's destiny.
Sure.
It's like fate that we're to be together. I'm not opposed to a story with that.
Right.
I think you're right, and I think it's good that a movie like that is out there.
I agree.
Now, I agree with you on that point.
I agree with us.
Yeah, hooray!
We did it, us.
I'm trying to think of another movie that sort of feels like that.
I got nothing that comes to mind. I mean, I'm sure there's something out there.
Yeah.
Maybe like Chasing Amy has a little bit of that.
Yeah, sure.
She's in several of Amy's monologues. She's saying, like, hey, I'm a human being. I'm not just some goal line for you to run through and cross the tape,
Yeah.
Chasing Amy.
Sure.
Does Chasing Amy hold up 20 years later? That's not for me to decide. But
well, there's a lot of it that lives in the 90s for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's more stylistic than it's style, not substance. I think the substance still holds pretty well.
Chasing Amy, Paper Towns. Give them a watch if you haven't. Give them a viewing. Give them a screening.
It's tough when there's a movie is dealing with a stigma. Because then it can make that movie sometimes live only in that era that stigma existed. We don't have the same... Largely, we don't have the same stigma towards bisexuals that we had 20 years ago.
Right. One Crazy Summer. You can only watch it in the summertime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Grosse Point Blank. If you're not in Michigan, you won't enjoy the movie.
Yeah. Summer school's the same way as something you can.
I tweeted at Cusack a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, did he tweet back?
No. But...
Cusack, what are you doing?
Technically, 2017 would be the 30th anniversary, the 30th class reunion of his graduating class from Grosse Point Blank. That was their 10th.
Yeah.
It's been 20 years since Grosse Point Blank.
You know what they should do? They should do another...
They should do Grosse Point Blank 30th anniversary, baby.
But not the same school.
No, yeah, bring back back
I think it turns
Marvin
out,
Blank.
I think it turns out that Cusack went undercover in different high schools. And he comes back...
But he wasn't a cop. He was a government assassin, remember?
Yeah. But I mean, like, he went training and he had to, like, learn different identities as an assassin. And he comes back as, what's his name, Lloyd from No, that's Say Anything, Lloyd.
Lloyd is Say Anything.
No. He comes back as the guy from
Hoops from One Crazy Summer.
From his original identity. He goes back to his original identity in
Better Off Dead.
Better Off Dead.
Lane Meyer.
About Lane Meyer. That's what I was trying to come up with.
See,
that
I
was his
feel
original.
like-
He was going to kill himself, and then because he had no real attachment to his family, obviously because he was going to kill himself, he was recruited as an assassin at that young age.
But he was already Marvin Blank in Gross Point Blank. Like, Point Blank, he ditches his prom date, and he's Marvin Blank.
No. He's Lane Meyer.
Oh, so you're saying...
Gets recruited, and then they give him a new identity as Marvin Blank.
And then he goes crazy, ditches Minnie Driver at prom.
Exactly. And Marvin Blank may not even be his second identity. Maybe Lloyd was his second identity, and Marvin is his third.
Whoa, dude. Whoa.
And then he grows up and gets in a hot tub.
A hot tub time
And we
machine.
learn about the Great White Buffalo.
That's wild.
Great White
So
Buffalo.
you're saying start the story with Lane Meyer,
Yeah.
the main wiener man.
I gotta watch that movie again. That's a good movie.
I haven't seen it in so long.
That's
I feel
so much
like
fun.
as a child, I probably watched that movie once a week, and now I haven't seen it in years.
What's the song that Everybody Wants Some?
Everybody Wants Some by Van Halen. They
Yeah.
do that hamburger,
The
stop
claymation
motion
hamburger,
video.
yeah.
I freaking love that thing. But yeah, somebody. Oh, it was on one of the new Mystery Science theaters.
What was?
Somebody made the joke of go that way, really fast,
Yeah.
and if something gets in your way, turn. That's a great ski instruction from Curtis Armstrong.
If you haven't seen Better Off Dead, you need to find it.
Better Off Dead.
Rent it, buy it. It's fun. It's a fun little film. Fun little 80s film.
Starring John Cusack, Diane Franklin as Monique, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a very aware...
Taylor Negron as the mailman.
yeah.
What's a nice little boy like you doing with big boy smut like this?
It's a very aware 80s film.
Yeah.
Like it knew what other 80s films were doing, and it kind of like had a little fun with that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
Oh, when he goes to pick up the one girl, like his dad's boss's daughter for the date, and she's got the headgear.
Yeah.
And she's like, look, you're probably going to take me out to dinner. That's this much money. You're probably going to take me to a movie. That's that much money. And then she goes, why don't you just write me a check for the $13.67 and we'll call it a night.
Dates were cheap back then, huh? Actually, that was probably a lot of money back
That's
then.
insane. The idea that two people were going to go to dinner and a movie for essentially $27.
Yeah.
Do you have any hemlock I could just gargle and put an end to this?
So if you've ever seen the South Park episode when they go the timeshare episode,
Oh, yeah.
and they go skiing, you're gonna have a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
That whole thing is
If you pizza when you should French fries, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, that whole thing ends up being Better Off Dead
In a way, yeah.
because he gets challenged by the other guy to the
yep.
ski competition.
The jerk of the ski slopes.
Yeah.
Lane Meyer. Oh, man. Oh, what a great movie.
Stan Marsh.
And I love how he just keeps calling him Darsh.
Darsh.
And he's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Better Off Dead. So
go watch
this
Better Off
Tootsie
Dead.
episode has turned into a Better Off Dead
It's
episode.
superheroes. It's
There's rocket science in the movie. There's mailman humor. There's paperboy humor in that movie.
there is French humor.
French humor. French. Toast.
Fries.
There's Ricky humor. There's Ricky's mom humor. Oh, she was so great.
You know what tickles me every time I see it in that film.
Yeah.
All right, folks, and I'm not gonna. We won't divulge into this too much.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna bring it up, and viewsters, watch the movie, and then you'll find out what I'm talking about.
All right.
The Asian guys
Yeah.
who drive next to him.
Oh, absolutely. They're
And I don't
great.
want to say any more.
They're totally great.
Every time it tickles me.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on and pretty much wrap this up. But I do want to let's just put out a feeler because there's something that we mentioned several episodes back that Desi was really intrigued by, and she thought it was hilarious that we both sort of read each other's minds.
All right.
We had both mentioned Hamburger the movie
Oh, boy.
at the exact same moment,
That was a
and
very
she was
weird
like,
moment.
"How on earth could you both have been thinking about the same thing?"
Great minds think alike.
Because there was no reference to it. There was no context at all. So I looked into it, and unfortunately, that movie is near impossible to get.
Aw, hamburger.
If anybody can find that movie, preferably on DVD,
Yeah.
or like so if maybe somebody made a DVD from the VHS or something, please let me know, because I would like to do that as a special episode for View the Right Thing.
Hamburger the movie.
I think you can watch it on YouTube. I really don't want to do that.
I understand.
I feel like it's stealing movies. That's another film 101.
Yeah, don't steal movies.
Don't steal movies,
Don't
folks.
pirate. Don't use these overseas pirate sites.
Yeah,
Don't
there's
steal movies.
there's sort of rules that I have for like when you can watch a movie on YouTube, and
So, like, what about Night of the Creeps? That's like a 30-year-old horror movie that never did that well to begin with. It's on YouTube in its entirety.
can you rent it anywhere?
I don't know.
You know, if you can rent it on Vudu or Amazon or even on YouTube, YouTube does rentals.
Yeah.
Xbox Video, Crackle, whatever. If it's available
Yeah.
somewhere, if you can stream it on Netflix, no, it's not okay.
All right. Just double checking.
So that's my rule. That's my personal rule.
Yeah.
If a movie is out of print and you've made, there's no way to get it. If it costs $100, you shouldn't do it. You should spend the money on it. But if it costs $2,000, maybe we're talking about something out of line.
You're not promoting the watching of a pirated movie, though, correct? Correct? Just say no, you're not promoting that.
I have mixed feelings about it.
Just say no.
If you're listening to this somehow, but don't have access to film,
That would be
impossible.
Well,
somebody has this on their
Unless
iPod, and then
you're-
they take it somewhere where the people don't have access to film.
right. Arthur Weasley. Never watched the movie in his life.
I'm an advocate of promoting film in
Yeah.
places where people can't get it, regardless of the means.
All right.
You probably could do that in a way that is not against the law. You could show old films that are public domain.
What about doing a play of a movie, like in Tropic Thunder or in Rain of Fire?
No.
Remember that?
Question mark?
Remember Rain of Fire?
Yeah. No.
Christian Bale, Gerard Butler, Matthew McConaughey versus dragons.
No.
And early in the movie, Bale and Butler are doing a play for all the children. What play?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Star Wars. You've seen Rain of Fire.
I don't think I have.
Oh my gosh, I'll tell you all about it after this.
Okay.
They do a play of Star Wars, and it was hilarious at the time because Star Wars wasn't being jammed down our throats every day like it is now.
Well, if people want to hear the film 101, like these are the rules for movie going or watching things at home or whatever. Maybe people want to know about filmmaking stuff too.
Sure.
We can do episodes on that. We just have to hear from you and what
Yeah.
your interest is.
Tweet at us at VTRT Movies.
Yeah, or if you're happen to be friends with us on Facebook somehow.
Yeah. Hashtag
Tootsie Talk on the last. Well, that was for Tootsie.
Teach Me Film.
Film 101. That'd be an easy hashtag to do.
Much easier than what I suggested. Hashtag Film 101.
Yeah.
Hashtag Wes and Steve Teach Me Film 101.
Wow.
Thanks.
Just make it really complicated. Thanks. Just add thanks to me.
Hashtag Film 101.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed always.
You have a special hashtag you use all the time.
I do.
You want to share what it is?
Well, yeah. Chances are you've probably seen it. I like to use hashtag Born to Party a lot. As near as I can tell, I'm the only person using it. And it's just
For now.
For now, yeah. I mean, maybe other people are using it. I haven't seen any evidence.
they're
of that.
going to after this. People are going to be born to party a lot all the time now.
I'm okay with that.
All right.
Just give credit where credit's due. My buddy Skyler, who you've met, sent me a screenshot of somebody's Instagram from, I think, maybe India. And in his bio, all he has is hashtag Born to Party a lot with a little cake emoji attached to it. And I have searched for that hashtag with the cake emoji, and the only instance of it anywhere is that guy's Instagram.
Interesting.
What can you do?
Maybe he's just a serial birthday party crasher.
Maybe. I worry that he was like, this will be a cool hashtag, and then he was like, oh, this idiot has been posting this for years. Hashtag this idiot. That's my friend Tara Erickson, by the way. She's great.
Hashtag this idiot?
She goes, yeah, her hashtag is this idiot. She's funny and lovely. Tara, if you're listening, thanks.
And if you're not listening, thanks a lot.
Yeah, and she couldn't even hear that because she's not listening.
Somebody will tell her.
I'll tell her.
I guess that's it. I guess that's it. Unless you have something else you really want to talk about.
Keep your eyes out for All About the Money, which according to IMDb opens June 2nd.
All right.
I don't know. By that new poster.
Go see Colossal.
Go see Colossal starring Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis and
Tim Blake Nelson.
And Beauty and the Beast's Dan Stevens. And Legion's Dan Stevens, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't he play her boyfriend at the beginning?
I have no idea who that is.
Dan Stevens.
British
He's
guy.
the star of Legion.
Okay, I haven't seen Legion.
You haven't?
That's the one about the demon, right?
I thought you were one of the 12 people telling me to watch. No, Legion, the FX series.
I have not seen Legion.
Oh, I thought you were one of the many. Everybody's telling me to watch it. I thought you were among them.
I'm not really a fan of that universe.
Fair enough.
I mean, I go watch all the X-Men movies when they're in the theater.
Yeah.
And I own them, but like I do it more out of like comic book geek solidarity.
Understood.
I've never been like I tried to read X-Men. I can't read it. I just don't get into those stories.
Oh man, X-Men was my favorite when I was a kid, and now I have forgotten more about the X-Men than I might ever learn again.
Even that cartoon, the X-Men '90s cartoon.
Oh, I didn't like that.
I would watch it occasionally, but it wasn't like I like the song. I
I don't like the song. I loved X-Men so much in those days, and I was just like, this cartoon ain't doing it, bro.
Video game's okay, but it's not like it doesn't like
the
compel
stand-up
me.
video game.
Yeah, where you could have like 6 players or whatever.
Yeah, that was fun. You could be Colossus and Dazzler.
The Colossus is really the only one to beat because he's got that like ultra power up that and it like destroys everyone. I mean, it's.
But you could also be Dazzler.
You could be Dazzler. Oh, I'll break a little bit of a rule on TV.
Break it.
I think Cloak and Dagger looks excellent.
Ooh.
You see that trailer?
Marvel's Cloak and Dagger.
Marvel's Cloak and Dagger.
Nothing
on
to do with the Dabney Coleman movie.
Freeform, I think.
It's coming to Freeform?
I think that's the channel it's on, is Freeform.
What?
It's one of those channels.
It's not coming to Netflix?
No. It's not a Netflix show. No, they have two.
What?
Yeah, they have 2 shows that are not going to be on Netflix that are on other channels. The other one is Runaways, which the cast looks cool for that. But yeah, no. Cloak and Dagger is going to be on. I think that's on Freeform. And it looks okay. It looks really cool. Did you see the trailer for it?
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
Yeah, we'll watch it after this.
I've scrolled past it and been like, I need to watch that when I can really.
Yeah, it's cool. It looks cool. I mean, it's a story we've seen before, but it looks like they're doing it really well. It looks like they really care about the characters, and they made them young, which is cool.
Yeah,
so that's
pretty wild. I'm excited for it. Part of me is thinking about dipping back into Luke Cage if I wasn't already trying to keep up with Better Call Saul. Has new Fargo started yet?
I don't know. I don't watch Fargo.
God, Fargo is so great. Veep.
People like the movie too, and I didn't like the movie.
Silicon Valley. You don't like the movie?
It's one of those Coen Brother movies I don't like that everybody does. I don't like Big Lebowski either. There's a really great thing. I'm not going to go too heavy into it, but there's a really great thing in Preacher.
Yeah.
The show I just watched the first season of Eusters. About the Big Lebowski. And
Preacher on AMC?
And somebody's dislike for the Big Lebowski, and I related to it. It was very funny.
That's okay. I'll have to check that out. I'm not like the biggest Lebowski. I can leave that right there, can't I? But yeah, I mean, I appreciate Big Lebowski, but I don't think it's my favorite of the Coen brothers. But man, Fargo.
I went and saw Big Lebowski in theater with my brother. He was so excited about it. Really, really wanted me to see it. And I sat through it, and I was just like, not my movie.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, on just one screening, that's just it's a pile of weird.
It's not that. I mean, I can handle weird.
Sure.
They're just like, some of their stuff is just too dry for me, and it's weird for the sake of weird. That's what I don't like.
There's a little bit of that.
Like,
hello.
Like True Grit. So we can have a Coen Brothers 101 sometime if you guys want.
Yeah.
Where we discuss our feelings about that, or we could do a Lord of the Rings. That'll unpack some anger on the internet.
Oh my gosh, we'd have to bring my roommate in for that. He watches the trilogy like once a year at least,
and I hate it.
I think this guy might need to go out.
No, he just really wants to see it, but maybe we'll give him a run in the yard. What were we talking about? Oh, weird for the sake of weird, like True Grit.
Yeah,
there's like a moment in that movie that doesn't belong. And they did it because they're the Coen brothers, and they like to put weird in weird spots for the sake of it being weird.
Which moment?
Dude in a big bear skin comes out of the mist for no good reason. Like,
did I ever tell you the story about that?
You probably. I feel like maybe we talked about it, but we can talk about it after the Unless you want to share it.
It's a really short
on mic.
story.
If you want to share it on mic, go for it.
I auditioned for that role.
Oh, cool. That would have been neat to see it, but yeah. But like the movie, that moment
That would have been so awesome.
the
Continue.
moment doesn't pertain to anything in the film. It's not important.
Doesn't that happen in the original True Grit? They don't run into a dentist wearing a bear
In that way, I don't.
while waiting
think so.
for LaBeef?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think that dog really needs to get out.
He's just pacing. I'll take him out.
He's pacing. Well, now he's pacing away from the door,
Yeah, he's just excited. Well, it's almost time for someone to come home,
and I gotta go.
and
home.
he gets really excited for that person to
Oh,
come home.
I understand.
So.
Dude,
All right.
our first podcast
Back.
in the new digs, baby.
In the new digs, and we have a new setup where I don't have to tear it down all the time, which makes it
Yeah.
easier for us to record. Should we draw a movie out of the bucket?
Yes, let's.
Okay, let's. Let me get it.
Which one of us will be picking the movie out of the
You
bucket?
always draw it.
Oh, because something's telling me it might be you. The other words to the song. All right,
I
I'm
get to
digging,
stand by you. I've been across the room from you this
digging
whole
deep
time.
into the bucket.
Man, I really
boy.
had to go to the bathroom. I had to go for a while.
Uh-oh, this is a long piece of paper. It seems to be blank. Whoa.
Wait, what's going on here, Steve? Steve's just like staring at
Hang on.
this piece of paper for like.
I don't know how to read, Wes.
You know how to read.
I don't know how to read. Part of me is just afraid to watch this movie, so I didn't want to tell you what it was.
Well, Jesus. All right,
It's-
can you just tell me?
I'm
Okay,
so
I can
scared.
see it.
I'm
I can
so
see
scared
it,
of it.
so-
It's Sinister starring Ethan Hawke, and I'm scared to watch it.
You'll be fine.
It looks so scary.
It's all right. You'll be okay. I'm looking at the what is it? The
I don't want to see
the
Sinister.
little voice thing on the computer here. There's like a big empty gap where you just were like, not
Because I
wanting
was
to talk.
living in fear of the
I'm
Sinister
like,
guy.
I'm like, show us. I mean, say it. And you'll be all right. Everything will be okay.
Can we watch it in the daytime, please?
No. Yes.
All right.
I don't know. We'll see.
Take us home.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We will be back soon with Sinister. In the meantime, everybody have a good life. Enjoy your movies and bon cinema.